Welcome to KWNC Evening News. This is Tanner Rodriguez.
And I'm Antonio Bondavera.
To start us off, there's a conflict on the Gaza Strip, and it's escalating. Israeli bombers are bombing the homes of Hamas leaders. And they're bombing them because they're not happy. Okay? Let's put it as simply as we can. So, Israel launched an offensive on these Hamas leaders and killed 870 of them. No joke. But this event has a massive effect on society, especially the area surrounding the Gaza Strip, which has been constantly bombed. Imagine it.
And in other news, the plane that had to make an emergency landing in the Hudson River is now being fully investigated because it was found out that the plane had further engine problems 2 days before it had to take off, and it wasn't just a geese that caused the accident. So now they're putting in $1 million to look into the full-on investigation, and they say it could up to a year. And back to Dave.
The U.S. Army has invested $12 million on new video game technology to try and lure young teens to join the Army. This aggressive action comes in response to a need for manpower on the front lines in Afghanistan. Why anyone would want to go to Afghanistan, I have no idea. The video game includes tours of U.S. Army bases and other such facilities, and you can even virtually fly a helicopter. Oh my gosh. This event has a large effect on society because it makes Army recruitment even more aggressive and will lure more kids into the service.
Lance Armstrong has high hopes for Obama's presidency. He hopes that he will end up raising and changing the healthcare process to make it better and raise more money to help fight cancer.
Hey! Where'd you get those clothes? The toilet store!
He believes that Obama was the best choice for president, and he gives him full support.
In recent news, a 17-year-old male killed both of his parents over a dispute over video games. In fact, it was Halo 3. I bet he killed him with a battle rifle. Oh, silly kid. Then they began arguing because he was playing the video game too much and his parents said he was addicted. So he shot both of them. He is sentenced to life in prison. I think this story is pretty shocking. Would you agree, Tanner?
Yeah. The Federal Bureau of Investigation will continue to investigate complaints from investors who were investing with Nadal, who seemed to have disappeared 2 days before he owed those investors $50 million. He has yet to be found, and the investigation still continues, and they hope they find him and they get their money back. Back to you, Tanner.
In other news, Somali insurgents fired mortars on the presidential palace. Mortars, people. Seriously. At least 13 people were killed in the attack. They were trying to kill the president, and they really didn't succeed at all. Not surprised they didn't succeed. You know, their mortars aren't very good.
In other news, hospital spokesman Alan Poston said Presley Faith Wells and Kyle Hope Wells were conjoined twins at birth. They were both joined at the chest, and at 12:14 p.m. yesterday, they were separated, and the operation took a little more than an hour, and when the hour was done, they were finally separated. They're all now healthy, and they're still being examined by the doctors to see if they'll make it. Back to you, Tanner.
A new study shows that sleep will prevent sickness. It said that getting 7 hours of sleep or more a night will make you 3 times less likely to become ill. Wow, that is just surprising. I mean, 7 hours of sleep, 3 times less likely, that's like 15 times more likely to be off.
And in other news, President Obama and his wife were up all night last night going to parties and whatnot. They must have went to 10 parties and danced their way through all of them. They reported to not get home until 5 in the morning the next day. Back to you, Tanner.
GM officials are saying that if the government does not send its second installment of money, it's going to be bad news. Because GM says it's going to go out of business. It needs that $5.4 billion right now. It can't wait for the next installment of money. It can't wait. They're not selling cars. They're bleeding money. Going down the tubes. Now that is a nice cock you're holding.
Thank you, Tanner. Tiger Woods stated at a We Are One concert saying that he would like to take more part in Obama's election by really helping out with his cause and helping with the advertising. But he never thought he would see a black man become president during his days in his life. and he believes that Obama is the best thing that could ever happen to the country. Back to you, Tanner.
To extend on our earlier story, Israeli and Palestine forces are calling a ceasefire so Israeli can pull out of the Gaza Strip. It's about time, if you ask me. They have really been going at it for some time now. Luckily, though, Egyptian mediators were able to come to some sort of agreement, and now Israeli is out of there. So, I'm gonna go splitting in celebration.
Are you okay? Yeah, it does.
The Red Sox have re-signed Kevin Youkilis to a 4-year contract worth $40 million, and he will get a signing bonus of $6 million, and then a bonus toward the end of the season after his first 2 years of $10 million. So right now, Kevin Youkilis is going to be starting for the Red Sox next year, and I am probably going to kill myself going down this hill. We got him so good.
A court in Peru ruled that being drunk on the job is not a reason to be fired. Huh, that is some interesting news. A Mr. Ko in Peru, he was drunk on the job. He's a janitor at a hospital. He was wasted. He decided to do a little drunk brooming, and they fired him. The court said, you know what, that's too excessive. He wasn't hurting anyone. He wasn't interfering with anyone's workday. He was just waxing the floors plastered.
Get out of here.
I will not get out of here, Sean Burke, the cameraman. You get out of here, sir. Good night.
Last night, the Bruins played the St. Louis Blues. They had the game in the bag until St. Louis scored 2 goals in the third period within 19 seconds of each other. That put the game even. Well, 4-2, actually. And then there was one tricky goal that was questionable call. St. Louis shot against Tim Thomas, the Bruins goal. It bounced straight in the air. A St. Louis player came up, hit it out of the air with a stick, and put it in the net. But from there, then they ended up going overtime. The overtime stayed the same, and then they went to a shootout. And the Bruins ended up losing in the shootout. President-elect Obama was recently on an interview on Sunday reporting that he's about to remove a lot of the Bush policies that he had instated. There will be no more eavesdropping on phone calls and no more suspecting terrorists of doing ungrateful things. And the closing of Guantanamo Bay will soon be enforced. Back to you, Tanner. Tell us a story like a football.
I had some sad news today. An 8-year-old boy in Michigan was living with his dead, let me just repeat that, dead mother.
Ew.
He was right, Mr. Guy in the audience. For over a week. He'd been going to the local convenience store to pick up like bread and milk and stuff, just to help him survive on his own. 8 years old. Seriously. So the shopkeeper was a little curious, asked where his mother was, and the boy's only response was, she's in a better place. So apparently he had tried to perform CPR on her to revive her, but she was dead. I can't take it.
Ew.
The Celtics have finally been picking up their play after suffering a 2-7 slump. Now they're in the mode of winning 5 straight games, and they've been playing very well. Kevin Garnett has been averaging about 17 points a game, and Paul Pierce is about 12 with about 8 rebounds and 9 assists. So as of now, the Celtics are in better view as they were from their 2-7 slump. Back to you, Tanner.
Wow, those were some fantastic stories, Antonio.
You had some very well done stories too, Tanner.
Wow, just great. I'm really glad I got to share these stories and tales of adventure with you. Good night from KWC2HC, and have a great day.
Boston.
Where the channel.
Dance, crush the speaker that booms. I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Deadly. When I play a dope melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it. You better gain weight. You better hit bullseye. The kid don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves.